So, to our first session, delivering for the UK shipbuilding enterprise. Our first speaker, I'm very pleased to say, is Rob Paterson, Chief Executive Officer of the National Shipbuilding Office. Rob has been in position for about 3 months as the Chief Executive Officer, and prior to that he was the NSO's Deputy Director since its inception, working across the entire shipbuilding enterprise to deliver the refreshed National Shipbuilding Strategy. As a bit of extra background, from 2015 to 21, Rob held various Deputy Director roles in the Department for Transport and has been in the civil service since 1999, working on many wide-ranging things from EU negotiations, aviation security, HS2, and leading the Department for Transport's business planning process. He's also had spells in private office and has also been on secondment at the Marine Accident Investigation. Fascinatingly, this is the first opportunity to hear Rod in his new post as the new CEO and to really learn about how the NSO is building its future shipbuilding policy. Please, could we all welcome Rod to the stage? Thank you.
It's that moment when your career flashes before you. It's quite daunting, really, isn't it? Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Peter. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rod Paterson, as Peter said, the new Chief Executive of the National Shipbuilding Office. I hope everyone in this room is also familiar with the National Shipbuilding Office, but to say from the outset, whilst we're hosted by the Ministry of Defence, we're not a defence organisation. Of course, defence is a really important part of what we do, but one of my messages that I bring to you this morning and the whole team will bring to you is about our work is for the whole totality of shipbuilding and the totality of the sector as well. Thank you to Tom and the team at SMI for inviting me to address you all this morning, and a warm welcome to all of you to these opening sessions. My team has been working hard to curate this morning's sessions alongside the SMI team. In particular, working with Mark Alban, who I'm delighted to say is seconded to the NSO for 1 day a week alongside his role as Director of Maritime Defence and Security Group at SMI. We're delighted to have Mark as part of our team as well. I hope I am a familiar face for many of you in the room, as Peter alluded to, having been Deputy Director in the NSO since its inception in 2021. Prior to this, as Peter again said, I spent 5 years as a Deputy Director in the Department for Transport's maritime team. Whilst I won't claim to have the sector experience that a great number of you have in this room, in relative terms, a senior government official with nearly 10 years' experience in the sector is a relatively rare occurrence. Of course, I have a huge amount to learn, and a great deal I want to do as I step up to be the Chief Executive. But I hope my appointment provides continuity, a reasonable depth of understanding, and I am something of a known entity to many of you here today. Whilst I've begun by talking about continuity, the NSO is undergoing quite a lot of change at senior leadership level. Some of you may have already met James Whitehouse-Hebburn, my Deputy Head of Strategy, as he's been in post for around 10 months. James is going to be speaking really soon, so his face will become known to you if you don't know it yet. This is, however, day 2 for our 2 other senior leadership members, Commodore John Carrigan and Captain Chatterdeep Chatterjee. John is our new Deputy Director and joins from Strategic Command, where he worked in defence supply chain operations and movements. As well as a varied career at sea, he has worked in a range of roles in MOD main building and DE&S, where he was the support lead in the ships division, amongst other roles. Chatterdeep, or Tush as he is known, is our new Deputy Head of Delivery. Tush joins us from the Naval Staff and will replace Tony Williams, who is heading to a new role in Space Command. I've worked closely with Tony for 3 years and will take this brief opportunity to thank him publicly for all his support and efforts. In addition to myself, John, James and Tush, we have several members of the team speaking here this morning and here over the next 2 days, so please do take the opportunity to speak to them. We're a small team with a huge ambition, and I could not ask for a more dedicated and determined group of people. The idea of having the NSO run this opening morning is not just to give insight into our top-level priorities, but also to provide a practical understanding of how we might be able to help you and your business. We're only going to scratch the surface of what we do, so I say again, please do take the opportunity outside of this room to talk to us and speak to the team. I am absolutely passionate about the critical role our sector plays in the strength of our island nation. It frustrates me enormously, as it will do many of you, that so many people just don't understand the vital importance of the sea to our lives. We all have a role in changing this. A few people have asked me too, why is a maritime sector conference being held in landlocked Birmingham? I think Tom's really already addressed this far more than I will, but I will say it misses both the critical importance of the whole supply chain to the success of our sector, and also fails to appreciate that without our sector, the shops here would not be stocked with the food, medicines, and so much more of the things we take for granted. And I'm also going to commend whoever chose sea spray soap for the gents' toilets as well, which was a really cunning pick. It was reassuring to hear from our Maritime Minister just now about the government's commitment for the maritime sector, and I can reassure you that the same applies specifically to shipbuilding. In all the engagements I've had so far with ministers, it's been abundantly clear the value they place on the shipbuilding enterprise and the role it has in meeting their priorities to drive economic growth, to create meaningful high-skilled jobs, and yes, to increase business in the United Kingdom. I consider my role, and that of my team, to turn that commitment into tangible support for the sector. But to do this, we must act now, and here's why. There are 3 milestone events happening in the next few months that will define the future success of the shipbuilding enterprise. I want to take this opportunity this morning to impress upon you all how important it is that you, as a vital part of this industry, actively engage and quite frankly fight for shipbuilding. Firstly, the Strategic Defence Review is taking a root and branch look at defence to ensure it's ready to meet the challenges, threats, and opportunities of the 21st century. It will therefore consider the naval pipeline in its entirety. It will also look at how defence nurtures its relationship with you as technology providers and industry partners to create a collaborative environment that drives modernisation and transformation. Whilst the NSO is interested in the whole breadth of shipbuilding, as I've already said, we can't underestimate the importance of this defence review on our sector. The reviewers have explicitly stated they want to engage widely and that public and industrial input is encouraged and welcomed. This is a golden opportunity to share your views and ideas with a hugely influential group of people. You have until 11:59 p.m. on the 30th of September 2024 to do your homework, to be precise. Next, the government has also committed to a new industrial strategy. It has 4 central missions which broadly aim at achieving 2 main goals: economic growth and a green energy transition. We all know the role that shipbuilding is already playing here and how it could do more with the right support. So please take every opportunity to make sure the government knows it too. Thirdly, there's much been made about the autumn statement taking place at the end of next month. But I'm also focusing on the ensuing multi-year comprehensive spending review. This will have a significant impact on all that we want to achieve, as it will underpin government investment in the sector over a longer timescale. Investment in shipbuilding will help consolidate and grow the UK's sovereign capability, whilst a strong enterprise enhances the credibility of the UK industrial base as a pillar of deterrence against aggression. In support of the government's ambitions to grow the economy, I will make the case for continued investment in the sector in order to increase productivity and champion greater support for the export of British-built vessels. This will in turn create more high-skilled jobs. Naturally, the government wants to see growth, but it has also placed great emphasis on the importance of a clean economy. we should grasp the opportunity presented by this transition. I will do what I can to address some of the challenges that you face in harnessing market opportunities in areas like offshore wind. But this is not just about the government providing incentives, but the industry demonstrating it has the ambition and capability to respond. I will make representation to ministers, senior officials, and opinion formers at every opportunity, but I ask that you do the same. So, whether you're reaching out to relevant ministers as individuals or using trade associations like SMI, we must collectively ensure that those at the very heart of government recognise the role that shipbuilding can play in boosting UK prosperity, providing resilience and self-reliance. I get that it's not always easy. Our job is made more difficult by the wrongful reputation in some quarters that shipbuilding is an industry in decline and one that belongs to a past era. This is compounded by a small number of high-profile cases that can cast a shadow over the sector. Ill-informed headlines portray a failing industry that can't stand on its own 2 feet and one that cannot be trusted to deliver projects on time or on budget. So we all need to work together to extol the virtues of shipbuilding. And by shipbuilding, I mean the whole enterprise. Of course, it is about hulls, but it's also about integration and refit. It's complex technology and engineering. It's innovation and autonomy. And I will make that abundantly clear to everyone I engage with that the NSO's remit is that much broader. For me, there are 3 behaviours that we all need to exhibit to really make a success of this sector. First up, partnership. As I said, we need to speak with one voice in order to have maximum impact. That means working together as partners, both with us, but also with each other. Of course, I understand there are always going to be competitive tensions between various companies within the sector, but by opening up with us and with each other, we can really understand the shape and size of issues that we are trying to address. It's also not just about government and industry, but about our partnership with our trade associations, with our trade unions, and with our world-leading academia. Next, show off where the government's investment, financial or otherwise, has paid off. At every opportunity, you need to demonstrate why shipbuilding is an industry worth backing. I've mentioned already the misperception of our industry, so the best way to start overcoming this is by showing, not just by telling. I've seen with my own eyes the impact that investment has, but the more you can demonstrate this, the more we shift the dial and see confidence rising in the sector. Lastly, and for me, perhaps most importantly, champion us as we champion you. I have and will advocate for our industry with new ministers every chance I get. I shall continue to set out the scale of the opportunity and impress that we have to act now to shift the dial. But in return, I ask that you champion the NSO. The shipbuilding enterprise is unique in that you have a small, but dare I say it, perfectly formed team specifically devoted to representing you across Whitehall. Given our size, we can't get everything done overnight, but we can ensure there is a consistent voice supporting you. We can't take that for granted. Political winds do change, so by championing us and all we can do for you, you will help us to grow and drive future success from the heart of government. Finally, my 3 personal commitments to you as the new Chief Executive of the NSO. Firstly, is my full and wholehearted support. My number 1 priority as CEO is to do the best I can for the whole sector and see you succeed. That goes to everyone in this room and beyond, the whole enterprise. But I should be clear, I will be fully supportive, but I will also challenge you too. Secondly, I will commit to doing what I can to break down the barriers that I know exist. Some of these will be easier than others, but there are things that we can do that would make improvements to your day-to-day business, and I get that. For example, my team and I are fighting to reduce the challenges which stand in the way of companies bidding for government contracts. Finally, I do want to improve incentives for the industry, but I can't do it on my own. If we look at the aerospace and automotive sectors, they are highly successful at collectively setting out their stall to government to unlock investment and secure long-term support. You may not appreciate me saying it, but we can learn from them, steal from them, adapt, and implement. So that's my commitment to you. But let's take this opportunity to undertake to work together. One collective voice will have more impact than us all shouting over each other. Let's make sure everyone understands what a fantastic sector this is, and one that is set to thrive. It starts today. Talk to us, challenge us, be patient with us, and dare I say it, listen to us too. And please do maximise the opportunity from the next 2 days. Thank you.